is it not a good idea? Let me break it down to you this way. Taxation, bad. Freedom, good. Taxation with representation, taxation without freedom, really bad. If that doesn't explain it to you folks, give me a call and I'll talk to you one-on-one. Good morning, everyone. This is Gilbert Carmona on this December 10th. Now, I am recording this program on Friday because we are going to be down with the Holocaust Museum. We are volunteers with a project and we will not be there. So I'm recording this today. I've got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to get right into it. My name is Gilbert Carmona. I am an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is a person enrolled with the Internal Revenue Service to represent taxpayers in all matters of taxation, all kinds of problems and issues and letters that you may get, as well as doing tax returns. I prepare tax returns for individuals, corporations, partnerships, LLCs, not-for-profits. A lot of people say non-profits, but it's really not-for-profits. A lot of businesses are non-profit, but that's not by design. That's kind of by accident or mismanagement. No, not-for-profits are specifically business that are set up for charitable purposes, and they have their own special tax returns that they have to do. As an enrolled agent, I specialize in all of those. We also do trusts and estates. We do tax planning, tax consulting, and business consulting. I am at 113 Whitesides Road in Rutherfordton, right next to Southern Baptist Church. I also have an office in Polk County, downtown Tryon, in the beautiful Art Deco building. If you need to see me there, I'm at 226 South Trade Street, right over the railroad tracks, off the downtown. My telephone number is 828-289-9300. My email is gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com. If you need to shoot me an email. I know we've been having some problems, or it was reported to me there's been some problems with the email on the website. I'm going to promptly look into that, and thank you for the person that told Todd. He just informed me about that. I'm going to take care of that. How do I do what I do to help you? The process begins with you coming in and telling me that you've got a problem with the IRS, or that you've got a problem with the state of North Carolina or the state of South Carolina, or pretty much any state. As an enrolled agent, I can represent clients in all 50 states. I actually have clients all over the world now. I have clients in China. I have clients in Germany. I have clients in Brazil. I have clients in Mexico. They own properties and businesses and things. They're foreign investors, and they have to file a tax return. You make money in this country, you got to pay taxes in this country, and I can help you with that. Pretty much the process starts with you contacting me and making an appointment. Initial consultations are free. I'll discuss your problem or discuss what you're trying to do. If you're trying to set up a business, you're trying to decide on a business entity, you need a financial plan, a budget, a plan going forward. I love to do that. Please feel free to give me a call, 828-289-9300. Now, today, there's really a lot happened this week in the tax world. I'm going to talk about security, fraud, and safeguarding your data. I received several phone calls and heard some comments about last week's program. People said it was very interesting. I was talking about offshoring your tax return and what happens when people offshore their tax return. A lot of people didn't know that that was actually happening. They thought that their preparer was just doing their tax return. They didn't know it was being shipped to another country. So I'm going to talk about fraud and taxes. Monday, we were at a continuing education in Charlotte, and we listened. One of the presenters was an IRS fraud and forensic specialist. He was with the specialist unit, really shared some very, very interesting information. He is heavily involved in tracking down people that buy and sell your data. And we'll just learn so much. He talked for an hour, and really we could have listened to him talk for several hours. So I'm going to get into that and talk a little bit more about that. I'm also going to talk about wildfires and disasters. For those, now here, really it was the mercy of God that we were spared with the fires. For those of you that have been following it, the fires in the Great Smoky Mountains in Gatlinburg, there were 14 fatalities, 100 injuries, and 1,684 structures were damaged. It was pretty serious. There was a lot of damage. There is some tax breaks, tax deductions if you've lost property and had business interruption due to this. I'm going to talk about that. A lot of people don't know. There's some procedures that you got to follow, but these are actually losses, personal and business. I'm going to talk about that in the third section. And then the question this time of the year that I always get: what can I do to reduce my tax load? I've said it 100 times, and I'm going to say it probably 1,000 times. Nobody, and I mean nobody, if it ever happens, I will let everybody know. But nobody has ever walked into my office and said, Gilbert, you know what? I'm not paying enough taxes. I really want to give more. Just whatever you think, Gilbert. 10%? Sure. Let me give you some more taxes. Let me give them some more money. That has yet to happen, folks. In the 16 years I've been doing this, no. Everybody comes in and says, what can I do to pay less taxes? Really, what can I do to pay no taxes? Maybe even get a refund. They come to my office with that box of receipts, that bag of receipts, whatever they put them in. You remember one year, the man came, just took out his whole drawer, filing drawer, out of his filing cabinet and brought that in, put that on my desk, and just the whole way to my office, he was just praying that I would find somewhere in that drawer a refund. That's who comes. So this time of the year, everybody wants to talk about what to do. There's a few things you can still do. We've still got 21 days left in the year, and I'm going to talk a little bit about charitable contributions and IRAs. But before we break for the break, let's talk about speaking of disasters, let's talk about the Dr. Jill Stein disaster. Now, it's pretty much fallen off the news. You don't see her little story anymore. She was getting media coverage. They said she got more media coverage the week from Thanksgiving on, that week after that, than she got the entire 18 months of the political re-election cycle. For those of you that may not have known, Dr. Jill Stein received 1%, they said maybe 1.1% of the vote, and she felt that our voting system wasn't representing taxpayers correctly, so she created a GoFundMe account and generated, I don't know what the final number is. Last time I looked at the story, she was at 6 point something million, because some of that was pledged, and how much of it actually, she got. But she got a lot of money. She got a lot of money, $6 million, to help pay for lawyers and to help pay for what was needed to order the recounts in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, hoping to overturn. I mean, she wanted to talk about the integrity in voting, and she wanted to make sure that people had confidence in our voting system and all that. The bottom line is, she was really trying to turn the election over. They told her, don't do it. There's nothing there. Sure enough, nothing happened. Now, I went on record the first Saturday after this whole thing happened. I went on record as saying she is playing with fire, because her 501c3, her charity that she has, the name of their charity, by the way, is the Greens / Green Party USA. That charity has a mission statement, and the mission statement is to get a candidate elected and to do fundraising in keeping with that. And there's all legal language in this. Nowhere in there. Now, you can make the argument that that's why she took the stand of integrity and education, and you notice she peppered her news conferences with that kind of dialogue. That was to expand that. But I said no. She's playing with fire. She's going to get burned. Sure enough, the second week, the Republican Party filed suits with election commissioners, and that's where it begins, the election commission in each state. They filed suits and said what she's doing is inappropriate, and they picked up on an angle that I didn't even pick up on, and that angle was that she's colluding with another party, clearly a violation of election rules and a violation of fundraising rules. And they wanted an investigation. They filed a complaint, and then you file a complaint, and then begins the lawsuit. But what I said was that money she collected could be taxable. Now, while nobody has said that yet, interesting development last week, all the members of the party have distanced themselves from Miss Stein and actually issued a statement that she is doing all of this on her own, that nobody told her to do this, and she's not doing this under the authority of the party. I didn't read the statement. I just read what was reported that the statement said, and with the lying media, you never know, so I'm repeating what I read that they said. I really believe that somewhere somebody got wind of this and said, we as a party could be liable, and at $7 million, that puts you in a whole other tax bracket. You're like at 39.6% tax. And who ultimately is liable to pay that tax? If the party, the corporation, we think of it as a party, but it is a corporation. It's the Green Party USA, Inc. That party has board members, and those board members would be on the hook for that money. And it's an interesting story. She's off the front page now. I don't even think she's like on page 8 anymore. A judge ruled yesterday or Wednesday, day before, Wednesday, a judge ruled and said, stop the counting. There's nothing there. On the contrary, it looks like Trump picked up like 3 more votes. He said, stop it. There's nothing there. Let's just move on. And Michigan is alleging that she owes them a couple of $1 million for what they've done. But watch the story. It's not going to go away. Todd, let's take a break right now, and we'll come right back. This is WCAB 590 AM.
Hi there, this is Kimberly, and I'm here to tell you about Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop. As a woman, I'm often apprehensive about taking my car to a dirty service garage. But you can be assured that Peterson's, located at 478 Butler Road, Forest City, has an incredibly clean and safe environment where you get high-quality service at a great price. Peterson's was voted Rutherford County's best auto service 3 years in a row. So take your car to Peterson's for brakes, oil change, North Carolina inspection, tire rotation, headlight lens restoration, scratch removal, and meticulous auto detailing. That's Peterson's at 478 Butler Road, Forest City. You can call him for an appointment at 245-8889. Mention you heard Kimberly on WCAB 590 AM, and Peterson will give you $20 off a full detail or $5 off your next North Carolina inspection. Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop, a place I feel comfortable going to.
What can I say about Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, and 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery that can do them justice? The cakes, fresh baked breads, sandwiches, and salads, everything is delicious and perfect. Whether it's sit-down dining, lunch on the run, or catering for any occasion, Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, or 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery is the place to go. Stop in at Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, and 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery and mention Gilbert Talks Taxes and get a free cranberry oatmeal cookie, the official cookie of Gilbert Talks Taxes.
People say to me all the time, Gilbert, your hair looks fabulous. How do you do it? The answer is simple. Robin Saunders at RSL Salon. 279 Shiloh Road in Forest City. Now, anyone that can make you look this fabulous is only available by appointment. So you've got to call Robin at 289-9110 and tell her you want to look as fabulous as Gilbert. RSL Salon also does gel nails. If you need a pedicure, shellac, or gel nails, call Emily at 447-3524 and she will fix you right up. That is RSL Salon at 279 Shiloh Road in Forest City. You can call Robin at 289-9110 or Emily at 447-3524 because everyone deserves to look fabulous. Okay, we are back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes. I am Gilbert Carmona. I'm going to give my telephone number out again. If you need to contact me, you can call me 828-289-9300. Email me at gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com. Okay, so I'm really not going to talk about politics today. I think everybody has heard enough. Everybody's heard too much. And folks, don't believe the media. I said it last week, said it the week before that, and I'm going to probably say it forever. Don't believe the media. They lied to us for the last 18 months. Now all these videos are coming out. Oh, wait a minute. I said I was going to talk about politics. Well, too late. They lied to us. They said that Trump was never going to win. Trump won. They're still trying to figure out what happened. They're still trying to explain it. They're blaming the Russians. Now they blamed the FBI. They've always been blaming him. They blamed everybody but themselves. Everybody but themselves. So, and the Bible says that. I've read that. I've read it over and over. Romans 1. God will send a misleading delusion. We have a saying at church, when you're deceived, you're deceived. And they're really deceived. They just don't get it. So the lying media, well, let me say this since I went down that. What do they need to be made believers? The Dow broke 19,000 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, we call it the Dow. It's a point system that weighs the market. 19,000, a record. Broke 20,000, a record. Read an article at 1:30 on Friday that the Dow is poised to go over 21,000 points. Another record. 2 days ago, the CEO of U.S. Steel said he's going to reopen a plant and hire 10,000 people that have been laid off. And he said, it's because Trump is president. We're looking for an environment with less taxation and less regulation. I mean, what more do we need to hear? I don't need to hear the media explaining how I voted for Trump because I'm a Nazi, or I'm a racist, or I'm whatever. No, the things he said made sense. And not only do they make sense, they're panning out. We're seeing them. And it's not just, I don't think this is just seasonal shopping. Somebody said, well, the economy's good because it's the seasonal shopping. No, folks. The Dow doesn't break 21,000. 21,000. The fact that they're even talking about it hitting 21,000 is incredible because people are out holiday shopping. No, this is real. We're really going to see some things happen, and I'm just excited. I am just very, very excited. January 20th can't come soon enough. Okay, let's get back to what I'm going to talk about. Let me talk about fraud and scams and what happens. Now, interestingly enough, this whole week that just passed, was National Tax Security Week. The IRS had, this is more industry things, but the IRS was officially National Tax Security Week. The IRS had a security summit where partners, mostly software developers and internet providers and pretty much anybody that has anything to do with the tax industry, got together and really had a security summit that was very enlightening. Now, I couldn't go to this. I'm really not at that level. I would have liked to have gone to have reported on it, but I didn't. They had National Tax Security Awareness Week as part of that summit. So Monday, like I said, we had at our continuing education in Charlotte, there was an IRS agent whose specialty is internet fraud. He's been an agent with the IRS his entire working career. He is pretty high level, very knowledgeable man, very interesting the way he spoke, and had a PowerPoint with some videos and went through some things. And it's everything I've been talking about for 3 years. And I'm really trying to just be real humble about this, but I saw this. I know enough about computers, and I know enough about the internet. You know, my major is in accounting, and I'm a double major with a minor. My major's in accounting, and my other major's in business management. My minor's in computer science. And I actually thought I would always be on the software development side of things and the systems development. Here I am, you know, with a tax practice with 1,000 clients and a radio program, right? So you never know which way you're going to go. But I find the topic very interesting, and I knew that this was going to be an issue. People are just too loose with their data. People email me all the time their social security numbers, their dates of birth, not just theirs, their wives, their children's, they just EIN numbers. They just put it in an email, and I could see if it was a secure email server, because I have a secure email server. But no, Gmail. We're sending things across Gmail. They're sending things across Yahoo.com. For those of you that were following the story, Yahoo, and we just found out about the data breach last month. Yahoo had a data breach 3 years ago that they're saying could potentially be one of the largest data breaches ever. And we've seen some large data breaches. I mean, Sony had a data breach that went on for 9 months. They were working behind the scenes, stealing their data. It came out when they stole a movie that hadn't even gone to the theaters yet, that was still in pre-production, and they stole the movie and downloaded it on websites that you could go watch the movie weeks before it was even in the theater. That's how people found out about Sony's hack. Major private information. So I saw this coming, folks. Now, last week, what I talked about, what you can do, because it's like, what can you do? Okay, we talk about these gigantic things where they'll steal 2 million social security numbers, but what can you, as just a regular person, do? That's what the IRS is really trying to address, how to teach people. You've heard me talk so much about these phone scams where they call you and they tell you they're going to arrest you if you don't. Send them $3,000. They ask you for your social security number and your date of birth. Don't give your social security number and your date of birth to just anybody, unless you know that you know that you know that you know who that person is and what that purpose is, and is that person going to guard your data? And I mean, I'm guilty of it too. You write something on a piece of paper and you leave it on your desk. Anybody that walks in can see that. Now we try to, now that we're much more aware, we guard these things at a whole other level. But I mean, back in the day, nobody thought about this. Now, the IRS agent shared with us your name, your social security number, your date of birth, and really the more of a profile they have on you, the more it's worth. A name, social security number, and date of birth could be worth $3 to $5. And you say, oh, $3 to $5. These people aren't dealing in 1 or 2 names. They're dealing in 1 or 2,000 names at a time. What they've learned is there's an entire underground. There's people that are specialists at stealing the data. There's people that are specialists at moving the data around. There's people that are specialists at filing tax returns and opening up credit cards and getting loans. There's people that are specialists at laundering the money. It's not one person doing it all. What the man told us is that in a crime, such as where somebody will steal your social security number, your name, your date of birth, and will file a tax return for you because they have enough data that they stole to file a tax return. I had clients last year, the factory, the man worked at a factory that was owned by a larger conglomerate up north. I don't remember where, Massachusetts, Connecticut, somewhere like that. There was a large headquarters. They had a data breach. Their HR department had all their records hacked. So not only do these people now have a profile with a name and address, a social security number, date of birth, they now have that information with employer records. So they have your W-2. So they filed tax returns for all these people, and they come to me and I file their tax return, and it comes back that a tax return's already been filed. So we went through the whole process that you have to go through, and that's a whole other show. I could talk about that for an hour. So how can you guard your data? Let me just bring it back to that. Let me keep it simple. I said when you go to do your tax return, ask the person who's doing your tax return, what kind of safeguards do you have to protect my data? Please, until you start asking this question, a lot of these tax preparers aren't going to take this serious. At the class we were at, it was shocking. We learned he was just doing a show of hands. So, it's hard to tell, but it was shocking how many people don't even password protect their computers. I was floored. A handful. Not only do I password protect my computer, my software now shuts off if there's inactivity for more than 15 minutes. And I can set that wherever I want. 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. It shuts off and you have to log back in. And people say, well, it's a hassle to log back in. Exactly. That's the point. It's a hassle. You don't want your data stolen. That's a bigger hassle. So ask them, and ask them the question. I talked about it last week. Are you going to offshore my data? There are tax preparers in India and China that will prepare a tax return for about $2 to $5, a basic tax return. More complicated one might be $7. And these are knowledgeable people. Don't get me wrong. They know what they're doing. They do a good job. You send them the data. They send you back a tax return that's rough. It needs to be, checked. But a firm can cut their prep time in half by using these services. Well, who's going to protect your data when it's being sent over the internet to somebody in India? What are they doing with your data? These may be the very same people that are selling your data. So please ask these questions. Don't give your information to anybody. Do not send it in an email. Now, last year we were sending it in texts. I was letting people text me information, but now I've been told texting is not even secure. And what made texting secure is there's an auto delete feature. It's heavily encrypted, and it's through the larger carriers. So we used to think there were built-in safety features there. We've learned there aren't. So I'm not even texting client data anymore. I'm using a secure email that it creates a portal, and you have to log into that portal. And it's a heavily regulated portal, and that's where you want your documents. That's where they'll be, in that portal, and you've got to come get them. But then what do you do with them afterwards? You just go fax it to somebody? You got to be careful. So the IRS is implementing a lot of things on their end. I said it 3 years ago. The biggest challenge to the IRS is going to be how to combat identity theft, how to combat fraud, refund fraud, and how to keep people's data secure. And I'm really excited about this because they've jumped on it really fast. And it appears like they are stepping up to the challenge, and they're right on track with some things. You can go to the irs.gov. Remember, that's the only website for the United States government, Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. The only website is www.irs.gov, G-O-V. Any other website is a fake site. And unless you're specifically filling out a form or doing a function, they will not ask you for any security information on this website. So if you go there, you will see right on the front page, it's the first 3 topics are National Security Week, IRS Security Awareness Tax Tips, summary of ways you can protect your data. There's a lot of information there. There's actually a publication. There's several publications that you can download the PDF and look at. I recommend you do it. I really do. I'm taking this very serious. I'm taking it at a whole other level with the equipment I'm purchasing and the security measures I'm taking. Let's take a break. Now, this is being recorded. Todd could have taken a break already, and I don't even know about it. But I'm doing my cues. Let's take a break. WCAB 590 AM.
My closet keeps shrinking my clothes. And if you have that problem, take them to Nancy at Nancy's Alteration Shop at 610 South Broadway, Forest City. Call Nancy at 248-2345. Wear the clothes you like to wear. Let Nancy bring them back to life for you. That's Nancy's Alteration Shop, 610 South Broadway, Forest City. A good sign is good business. Make your business stand out with a professional sign from DS Signs and Graphics. Successful companies all over the Carolinas are trusting Alex at DS Signs and Graphics. He has the artistic ability to present your company's image in the best light. Not only display signs, but DS Signs and Graphics can customize banners of all sizes. And if you need magnetic signs or window and vehicle lettering, call on DS Signs and Graphics today. They offer a full line of signs and graphics for any event. 3D, sandblasted, storefront, and monument signs are part of the complete selection of quality signage. Professional signs and banners to fit any budget. Let your business stand out. Call DS Signs and Graphics today. That phone number is 286-4900. Or stop by the sign shop located on Main Street in downtown Spindale. And check the website for more suggestions at dssignsandgraphics.com.
I want to tell you about a little-known Rutherford County gem, Integrity Marble and Granite, located at 287 Shiloh Road in Forest City. They are the premier stone fabrication company in the western North Carolina region. They specialize in granite, marble, and natural stone, offering complete design and installation. Their design center and Kohler showroom features vanities, decorative accessories, bathroom, and kitchen fixtures. You do not have to go to Charlotte or Asheville for this kind of quality. We have it right here in Forest City. Stop in their showroom and browse their beautiful displays, or you can call 828-247-8801 for a free quote. You can also go to their website, www.integritymarblegranite.com, and look at the pictures and see samples of their available materials. Now, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes, and they will give you $100 off any sink purchase. That's Integrity Marble and Granite. We are back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM. I didn't welcome our Northland Cable subscribers, Northland Cable Channel 5. Those of you listening on Northland Cable in Polk County that listen to us, thank you. Good morning. Welcome. Now, those of you live streaming at www.wcab59.com, all you're going to see is an empty chair this morning because I'm not there. This program is being recorded, although you may see the back of Todd's head. I'm not sure. It all depends how he sits. I'll give him a heads up, though. But normally you'd be seeing me there, live. So this morning I'm kind of semi-live. In the next section, I'm going to talk about, we've had these wildfires. Those of you that live up in the Lake Lure area, Lake Lure, Bat Cave, Chimney Rock, it was really concerning there. We were praying for all of you, and the smoke was unbelievable. I heard from a man that works in Greenville, one of my clients. He said the smoke was thick down in Greenville. Spartanburg, and Greenville coming down off the mountain. It was severe drought conditions, of course, and when you're in the mountains, severe drought is a bad thing. We've had a lot of fires. So, fortunately for us, and really we thank God for it, no structures were damaged. And as far as I know, nobody was hurt. There may have been, but I don't know. Now, I know the firefighters, and we can't thank them enough, that came from all over to help with this. I know they needed a lot of help, a lot of supplies. We were taking up collections for them and sending them things. But as far as I know, everybody was okay. There were some minor injuries, but nothing serious. Nothing like Tennessee. Tennessee had 14 fatalities, and this is as of December 7th. I'm reading the article here. Let me give credit where credit is due. The National Association of Enrolled Agents, at their website, naea.org, has a story and written by Miss Thompson Jarvis, who's an enrolled agent. Tax implications of disasters, what the wildfires mean for the volunteer state. Okay, so in the article, which came out of Washington, D.C., hurricane force winds hitting 90 miles an hour, downed power lines, and spread fire in the chimney tops of the Great Smoky Mountains in Gatlinburg. Mandatory evacuations did not prevent 14 fatalities, over 100 injuries, and these are serious injuries. How many not serious happened? 1,684 damaged or destroyed structures. Okay, if you've had a loss, whether it's from this or any loss, there's a few things you need to know. There is a tax, I don't want to say the word a tax write-off, but there are tax credits, because you're going to need every penny you can get if you've had something like this happen. It's called a casualty loss deduction. Now, there is a publication 584. It's called Casualty and Disaster Loss Workbook. I've gone through that publication. I've had a couple of theft clients that have had theft losses, okay, which is considered a casualty loss. I've never had a disaster loss I've worked through with a taxpayer. I've had a few casualties. I've had, small building fires. So there are some steps you need to take if something like that happens. And if you have a business and you get a piece of equipment stolen, it's the same thing. Now most people, if it's something that's already been expensed, you've already expensed it. You can't expense it twice. But if it's you need to talk to your tax preparer, because there could be other implications. But in the case of these fires, for structures, for buildings, especially personal residences, tax deductions for buildings with structural damage, they require some things. You need to conduct a room-by-room inventory of the damage. Now, obviously, if all your receipts got burned up, you don't have any proof. But some people, there's this mistaken thing out there that, well, I don't have the receipts. They were lost, they were damaged, they were destroyed. No, you had the stuff. You obviously got it from somewhere. So there are other ways to document this. Photography, filming, eyewitness accounts, just an inventory. So you do a room-by-room inventory of what's left. You can get an appraiser. You get estimates on the repairs. And there's a lot of ways, and it's, I can help you with that if you have questions. All the claims, this is a key part here, all claims must first be submitted to the property owner's insurance carrier, even if the property is not covered. Let's say, now if there's no insurance, period. But most structures have some kind of insurance. But let's say it's a property within that structure that's not necessarily covered by the insurance. It doesn't matter. You still need to report that and make the claim to the carrier. That's actually on the tax form itself, and it's one of the first things they're going to ask you. So that's a little thing there. I've seen some people run into problems with that one. So you report it to the carrier. They're not going to pay you 100%. There's usually deductibles, and there's usually depreciation, and there's usually other things. It's a very confusing process, so I'm not going to get into all the nuts and bolts of it. Really, what I just wanted to tell you was there is relief for casualty and disaster losses, and if you've had any, I really recommend you get an expert who can help you, a CPA, a tax attorney, or an enrolled agent like myself, and ask them, have you had experience with this before, especially if you've had a structure fire and there's some issues, or you've had a large theft in your business, you're going to have some issues. Make sure that somebody that's had some experience with it and go through it, and there could be a lot of money there for you. Actually, it would be a reduction of money due. It's not going to get you a refund. I mean, it's not going to get you a credit, but it will reduce taxable income, and it's definitely worth looking into. Speaking of paying less taxes, the last thing I wanted to talk about today was charitable contributions. Again, people walk through my door, Gilbert, what can I do? Okay, we've got 21 days left in the year. One thing you can still do, you got plenty of time, is your charitable giving. Of course, if you're not going to hit Schedule A is the schedule where charitable contributions go. Now, this is for the individual. If you are a sole proprietor of a business, your tax return, your business income goes on your personal taxes anyway. So if people say, can my business donate? Yes, the business can donate, but where does the tax deduction, the tax credit go? It goes back on that tax return. So if you're a sole proprietor, it's going to end up on Schedule A. It does not reduce, it's not an expense. It does not reduce your taxable income at the business level. It reduces it at the individual level. If you're an S Corp, a corporation, an S Corp, it will end up on your K1, which will end up on your tax return. Okay? So that's where it's going to end up. So if you make Schedule A is the schedule that has medical and dental. It's also got your state and local taxes. These are all deductions. It's got your mortgage interest and other interests that you pay. It's got your mortgage insurance premium, and it has gifts to charity. And that's, by the way, interesting, is also where casualty and theft losses that I was just speaking about go. They go on Schedule A also. Job expense deductions, other deductions. Okay, that's your Schedule A. If you're making Schedule A, and you can tell by looking at last year's tax return, typically people that make it every year because it's just the way they're set up. So if you'd used Schedule A last year, if you have a house and you pay interest, chances are you're going to hit Schedule A. And I mean, you've got a reasonably large mortgage and you're paying interest, you're probably going to make Schedule A. Medical and dental expenses, unless you've had a lot of dental and medical expenses, it usually isn't enough to generate Schedule A, but you never know. And then again, state and local tax goes on there. So if you're making Schedule A, charities is definitely something, charitable giving is definitely something we want to look at, you want to look at. Especially non-cash gifts. If you donate non-cash gifts, non-cash charitable contributions, you're going to fill out a form called 8283 on the tax return. That just gets filled out for any contribution that is more than $500. But what's important here with non-cash contributions is documentation. Even if you're just taking a bag of clothes over to Yokefellow or Hospice or Grace Mission or wherever, you're just taking, honey, let's clean that closet out. There's a bunch of coats that don't fit me anymore, and let's just go ahead and take them over there. And the mission will welcome that. They need that, especially with this cold weather. They're glad you're doing that. So you take your bag over there. You'll get a few, write-off on your tax return. But be sure to get a receipt from them. And the receipt should have the date, the name. If you can get their EIN number, that's going to help your tax preparer. Their EIN number. Most charities have this already pre-printed on the receipt. Just make sure it's on there, their EIN number. You can always look it up, but it's just easier. I keep a database of them all because we do so many of them. I have a huge database of all these EIN numbers, but try to get it. And then try to get a signature from somebody, so they know that it was a real person received what you gave. And then you're supposed to take a reasonable estimate of what you dropped off. Now, if you're donating a car, you're donating something of large value, we may want to consider an appraisal of some kind, which might involve paying somebody, but it's well worth it. I had a client who donated, she moved down here from up north, and at her house up north she had a concert piano, big expensive concert piano that her husband bought her, and she tried to sell it and just nobody really wanted to buy it, so she thought she would donate it to a charity. I advised her to please get an appraisal. And the appraiser came and looked at it and said the thing, it shocked us all. He said the thing was worth $40,000. And because she'd forgotten, she'd had it for so long, she couldn't even remember what her husband had paid. He'd passed away, so there was no asking him. And she said $40,000. Now, the appraisal did cost $350 because it was a professional appraisal, but that's deductible also. Anybody giving away a $40,000 piano can afford to pay the $350. That was a huge deduction for her. So that's just be aware. It's documentation. Without documentation, they could deny your gift. So, and again, it doesn't have to be complicated. If it's just clothing, miscellaneous household items, just say clothing, miscellaneous household items. Write a reasonable estimate. Those people there know what's reasonable. Write it down, and boom, there you go. I've actually had people that have given, and they didn't realize it because it was a trip here, a trip there, a trip here, and at the end of the year, they bring me all their receipts. I totaled them up. They had given $5,000 to hospice. They were shocked. It adds up. I think that's all I have the time for today. I hope I didn't go over, but I want to thank everybody for listening. I will be back really live next week. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, right here, WCAB 590 AM.
I want to welcome Tim Schlabach and Foothills Photo Works, a professional hybrid commercial photography studio. If you're concerned about your social media image, listen up. Whether you're an executive, real estate broker, lawyer, or business owner, your image matters now more than ever. And first impressions count. Whether you need professional portraits, corporate headshots, images of your products or facility, aerial photography, and videos of buildings, boats, or large acreage, affordable professional help is here for you. Foothills Photo Works can create media that will help your prospects get to know you better and help you look your best. Foothills Photo Works is located at 362 Charlotte Road in Rutherford, North Carolina, but